angels from the heaven brought together the alliance of Pedda Venkaparaju and Ishwaramma. Little did the world know that they were to be blessed with the birth of God Himself.
Palikedi sai kathayata Palikinchu vibundu sai ramudata Ne palikina bhavahara magunata Palikeda verunduga palukaganela
So I had somebody's phone number in one of my hands. So I took Pad Namaskar with my right hand first. And I was still shaking with Om Namah Shivaya because I couldn't believe this was happening now. And he said to me, take one more. Now, I didn't know that he was talking about the child. I said, Swami, I already took. He said, take one more. So I took the phone number, put it in the other hand now, and took Pada Namaskar with my left hand. And I guess Karan and Krishna, one is right-handed and the other one's left-handed.
Madhuram madhuram sai katha navarasabharitam swami katha Madhuram madhuram sai katha navarasabharitam swami katha Madhuram madhuram sai katha
What kind of soul do you want? And, when you hear something like that, you know He's God. But when you hear something like that, you say, my gosh, I'm in the presence of the cosmic self. Because you're not able to absorb it. You're saying, wow, someone's asking me I'm pregnant already with 5 months. What do you mean, what kind of soul you want? I should have the soul inside of me. You mean to say the soul's going to come in now? He said, yes, 20th, 5th week, it was starting, 5th month, sorry. He said 5th month pravesham of soul takes place. But only body is being formed right now. And so I didn't know what to ask him, So I looked at him, he said, tell me what kind of child you want. I said, Swami, the child should be very loving. He said, what else you want? I said, Swami, he should be very intelligent, loving, loves you, He said, no, you tell me what you want. He kept on saying. So I didn't know what to say. I said, Swami, give me a mother form, a Durga Swarup form. He said, what is Durga Swarup? He told me. I said, Swami, you are Durga. He said, then what do you want in your womb? And I don't know why I said, I want you in my womb, Swami. And he said, Tathastu. And he put my hand on the head. And Shiva came this way in the 5th.
Sakala shubhamuranu sampadano sagi Sakala papamura harinchugata Madhuram madhuram sai katha Navarasabharitam swami katha Madhuram madhuram sai katha
I think it was Swami's will and the time had come where he instructed them within and me within that this time when you go, the 3 boys should sing the Sai Katha. And it was strange because we lost even that one day of practice that we were supposed to have over here. Our plane got delayed. So we were in Doha for 1 day. So they had exactly 1 day to practice and then 1 day to perform. And everything else was done on FaceTime. So I think this is his miracle to sing his glory. I've learned through this entire journey, and I'm still learning, that every small thing that you do in your life comes from Bhagwan. So the Sai Katha, I think, started, was Bhagwan's will just from the time Karan and Krishna were born. Because each time he would see them, he would say, "What are their names?" And I would say, "Karan and Krishna, Swami." He'd say, "Love and Kush, Love and Kush." So, during that period, Karan and Krishna used to ask me sometimes, "Is there a story that we can sing of Bhagwan's?" And of course, we knew that there was a story, but it was in Telugu. So fortunately, these guys, when they were little kids, they used to hear Swami's discourses in Telugu, and they would hear the English translation, but they would try to get as much as possible from the Telugu itself. Swami came to our family in 1974. My mother's health was not very good. My father had had a heart attack 3 years back. And my mother had lost her mother at birth and father at age 10. So she was afraid she's going to lose her husband at an early age. And so her health went bad. And at that point, we received a pendant of Swami. One of my aunts got a pendant of Swami. And she said, "Put this on. You put this pendant on and you'll get better." She put it on a black thread. It was, I think, Sunday afternoon. And Monday morning, we saw her in the kitchen cutting vegetables, smiling, and she had become 100% okay. She was almost bedridden for a year. And so Swami came with a huge bang. My mom was perfectly fine. And so being devoted to Bhagwan became natural to us. We went, he used to come twice a year to Dharmakshetra. And, our home was filled with his pictures. And he was naturally God to me from childhood. And there was a lady who my friend used to go to. She was her guru. And she used to get the Devi in her. And I used to not believe in all of that. So I used to not go. So one day I had to go with her. We were running errands. So I went with her. And this lady comes to me and she cups my face like this. And she says, "Dattatreya loves you very much." And I didn't know who Dattatreya was that time. So she said, "Thursday will be your day. The Guru will make you sit on his lap. You're going to be his child." And I was wondering what she's talking about. At that time, I had no idea. When I came back out, I realized that Dattatreya was, a guru for Swami Brahma Vishnu Mahesh himself. And so my mother went and got a picture of Dattatreya, and I started doing 16 fasts of Dattatreya on Thursdays. And on the 16th day, on my altar, Amritam started flowing on all the pictures. All the pictures. Devi, Shiva, Swami. And it was like my whole wall was full of pictures. I would light lamps on those by the wall and sleep looking at them, at the pictures. So I had a lot of manifestations that came during that time. Kumkum that came during that time. And, there used to be people that used to come to just see our house, do namaskar and go. So Swami came very, very big time to us that time. And I still had not gone to Parthi, even though I was seeing him very often when he came to Mumbai. Then I went to the States at the age of 20. I went and took a job there. And when I took a job there and I was living in my apartment, he would I would see him outside everywhere. He would surround me and say, come to Parthi, come. And I used to say, my God, I say everywhere I see this Swami. And I used to say, I'm imagining, this is crazy. So I was there for 2 years. And for 2 years, it was so strong that I wrote to my mother. I said, I have to go to Puttaparthi. I'm sorry, because my dad didn't want to send me to Puttaparthi because he used to say, oh, there is well water there. You'll get very sick. And, I don't, but I told my mother, I said, whatever happens, I have to go to Parthi. So I went for my brother's wedding 2 years later. And this was the 7th of July that I was supposed to come. And my mother and I both had tickets. And on the 4th of July, my father got a heart attack. And the doctor said he may not make it. So now my ticket is for 6th of July. I'm coming from Mumbai, 24-hour train, 7th of July. I'm arriving. So I asked, so there was a big picture of Swami. I asked that picture, I said, Swami, if you want me to come, give me some indication, because if you call me, I know he's going to be okay. And that picture was like way above on the ceiling. I get up next day in the morning, it's like a shower of Amritam coming down from that picture. So I went and told my mother, I said, he's called me. I have to go. He's called me. Nothing will happen to my father. I'll go. She couldn't come, but I went with this Mumbai group coming from Ashadi, not knowing anybody in the group. I came alone to Parthi first trip. And I get down at Dharmavaram station and I look up at the sky and the whole sky is Swami. Full face, radiant orange glow, and I'm doing namaskar. I'm saying, oh my gosh, Swami, my heart was beating. I realized, I said, I've come home. And for some reason, I had got a white silk gown to give him. Okay, and that's another story of its own. So he came darting from the mandir. Instead of going the regular route, he came straight. And he came, and he comes across the first row person and stares at me like that. And I'm kneeling down and I'm saying, Swami, here's the gown. But my hands start shaking because the stare is so inward. And I'm hearing Sai Darshan, Sai Darshan, Sai. From the thing loud from him. And then he went away after that. And so everybody said, oh wow, Swami stared at you for so long. I said, did you hear he said Sai Darshan? They said, no. I said, that's so strange. What is Sai Darshan? I didn't know what Sai Darshan was. This happened in 1990 and Sai Darshan came in 1999. So it's so many years later. 97, sorry. Sai Darshan came in 97. But all those years, so I actually I embroidered Sai Darshan on a small cloth and kept it in my altar. I said, I don't know what it is. Probably it'll be a center one day. God knows what it is. But he definitely told me, what is this Sai Darshan? Now, I didn't know that that's going to be a book that came later. So this was my first interaction when I came to Parthi. So Swami had told me during that time that rebirth will occur. Punarjanam will occur for you. So they were born during that time and I went into toxemia after they were born. And the doctor came and told me I don't have that many chances to live. On the 29th of September, I had hardly seen these two because my vision was going also with the toxemia. I was losing vision. Swami came to me at 11 o'clock in the night in the hospital. Now, the funny thing is he's walking with his hands at the back and I'm seeing him go into many rooms and he's talking to all the other patients also, even the Western patients there. And he comes in my room, he says, ready to come? And I remember this, ready to come? I said, Swami, what will happen to the two children? He said, don't worry, I will take care of them. Your work is over here. And I said, no, Swami, please give me your work. I don't want to leave them alone. I want to be a good mother to them. He said, it will be very difficult because you will have to teach them truth and truth alone. And as mother, he said, it's easy to love. But then, the truth goes down. There is untruth that comes because the mother goes into Maya. Children also learn that. You will not be able to do it. I said, no, Swami, whatever you say, I will do. Will you be able to be a guru to the children first before being mother? I said, yes, Swami. Will you be able to know that they belong to me and they will be for my task alone? I said, yes, Swami. He said, okay. So I am seeing this at 11 o'clock, and then I don't remember anything. The next thing I remember is my bed was taken outside the ICU room and I was outside the ICU and they said, ma'am, you're getting over your toxemia. You got better during the night time. Okay. And when I opened my eyes, the strangest thing occurred. I started getting poetry. Very profound poems. And I'm not a writer at all. And I said, so I started in the hospital itself recording these. And I used to tell myself, wow, how did I think this? This teaching them truth allowed me to be in truth itself. I cannot teach anybody truth until unless I have extreme amount of self-awareness. And that doesn't mean that I don't slip and I don't fall, but my self-awareness tells me if you don't correct yourself now, they are going to do it. You have no right to tell them what to do until and unless it's not that you have to be perfect, but they have to see that during your struggle, you're earnest. So, and it's a very difficult task because it's very easy to give food 3 times a day. And it's wonderful to take them out to play and buy them gifts. But to watch their mind, you have to watch your mind, and then you have to make sure that they don't rebel against this either. The reflection of whatever I have told them and spoken to them, and I said, you're brothers. In the end, you have to take the whole world to be as your brothers. So if you cannot take these, you two, okay, where you're fed in the same house, where you're loved in the same house, if you can't do that, then when you go out, it's going to be fake love. And guess what? When your love is fake, are you going to be a happy person? They said no. So this was their Bal Vikas when they were 3 and 4. The Bal Vikas continued from the time they got up, from the time they slept. There was no end of Bal Vikas, and it still is going on. So, what my message to parents is, parenting is not an 8 to 5 job. It is when you wake up and you realize you've got up to children, you start correcting yourself and you become self-aware. Till you go to sleep, you have to be self-aware, and you have to be not only self-aware, you have to be aware of their environment. What are you exposing them to? What kind of exposure are you giving them? If you're telling them, okay, here is Bal Vikas, learn this mantra, and then you put on the TV for them, okay, and then say, hey, watch this show now after this, but learn the mantra by tomorrow, good boy. It is meaningless. That's not Bal Vikas. That's giving somebody just an ego that I am making my child Godward, And so you have to be very, very sincere to yourself, which is God inside of you, in order for a child to really know God within them.
Can I ask you, what were those really indelible moments for you as far as bringing them up is concerned? Now, there are some moments which you really loved with what they did or what they said, or you yourself were surprised with what happened.
I think the most endearing moments for me were when I used to do my writings and they used to pretend that they were also with God at the same time. Because you know how at that time you feel that whatever my mom's doing, I'm doing too. If I would be sweeping, they would take small little mops and mop. So that was a wonderful thing because I used to smile. They used to take a small little square carpet and pretend they're doing a yagya. They were only 2 years old. They used to sit opposite each other. And, they used to be doing swaha. That's all they know how to do. But that's what they're doing. So those are certain moments where I was feeling, okay, Swami, I'm trying my best and it looks like it's working tiny bit.
Awesome. It just reminds of how Bhagwan used to say that when a little sapling is planted and it needs that fence, right? Otherwise, goat and cattle will come and nibble at the
I didn't know
roots.
Swami used to say that, because it's strange. In one of the interviews, there was I think she was a princess or a duchess from somewhere. She was sitting next to us. It was really sweet, actually. There was a duchess and a secretary, and then our family. And so the duchess had this beautiful big elephant like a pendant, like a brooch filled with diamonds. So Swami comes and sits down on the chair. It's just very sweet. And he looks at the duchess and then he looks at her secretary and said, you don't have elephant, So she said, no, Swami. She said very sweetly, no, Swami. He said, And then he took out the same elephant brooch. I mean, I'm telling you, this is like very expensive. These were real huge. And he goes and nicely pins it to her.
Wow.
And then like a real, so pure, his eyes are so pure. He looks at it and says, now you match. That sentence hit me so much. Here we have so many differences, right? Because, she's wearing this kind, this one comes in this car and this one is... For Swami, it was so this. It wasn't anything to do with the diamonds or the money or anything. He just wanted them to match. So now you look good together. Now you match. So he told them, Karan and Krishna were sitting on my lap and he told them, he said, these two, you know who they are? They are small saplings, he said. And then they were European, so they would not understand saplings. So he told me, tell them the meaning of saplings. I said, it means small, tiny plant. He said, yes. He said, they are tiny saplings that are growing straight to the divine light, he said. So when you said that, now I didn't know Swami used to say that. I'm just telling you what he said. And it's beautiful how it matched, you know. I'll tell you what Swami taught me. He used to tell me, he said, you get affected by others' minds only because you don't have your mind under control, right? He said, you're watching others' minds only because you're not watching your own mind. You're not able to love them only because you're not able to love yourself. These are the three important things that I think of each time I feel I'm slipping or I'm reacting to someone else's actions. I'll say, okay, I'm paying more attention to this one's mind than my own. I'm not being able to love myself right now. That's why I'm not able to love. And Swami said, if you become a victim of your environment constantly, then how are you going to have self-awareness? You cannot say, I'm practicing self-awareness, yet you're being all the time a victim of an environment. For example, if you sat and you're reading the Gita, correct? You're reading the Gita in your room, and outside your room, there is constantly a dog barking loudly, right? You'll go once to the window and you'll go and look at it. You'll close the door. But after some time, that becomes a background noise. The dog is barking constantly, but you're reading the Gita. So that's what I would want to tell each one of them then. You read the Gita inside. You chant the name of the Lord inside. Not that I'm saying the other people who are dogs. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what's inside your mind there is what's barking. It's not outside. Why is that, Swami says? Why? When somebody says you're a dog, you're able to withhold and you don't walk on fours and go out. But when somebody says you're not intelligent or you're stupid, you feel it. You say, I'm not stupid. You're responding to that. So Swami said it depends on what is real to you and unreal to you, right? So you have to realize what you're thinking is unreal, right? And the person is only reacting to your state of being. In what state of being they are in also. They have come from another environment. You don't know what environment they came from. They may have come from a very, very imbalanced environment. And they brought that imbalanced into your environment. And now you're carrying that imbalance and spreading it to someone else. So you have to know where to draw the line. You have to say to yourself, this person is not, you don't say this person is imbalanced. You say this person is right now in an imbalanced state of being. If I also am in an imbalanced state of being, then I am going to spread the same thing that this person to another person, right? See, most of the interviews he used to love to talk spiritual things. For Swami, a stable family structure was very important for a child. And how the husband and wife are towards each other is also very important. Because once there is a stable background in the family, then the child automatically wants to learn good things. Otherwise, the child goes outward. So most of the interviews were, I asked Swami directions. Now, there was one interview where I asked Swami, I had made a book of 1,008 questions.
Oh.
About karma and all this. And he went through, he read the questions, he sat quietly, and then he said, I will give you the answers of all of this when I'm alone with you. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, I said, I didn't think that time that in the omniscience, I said, Swami, you'll never call me alone because I'm a woman. And he said, no, I'll give you these answers. I know all the questions, you keep this. I will give you. And so all the messages that come now, my gosh, I smile at sometimes, I said, oh my gosh, these are all pertaining to those 1,008 questions, why karma, why do we, all those questions were there, why do we face difficulties, why can't we love God right from the beginning, why do we have to go through this kind of life, what is our duty towards this, what's a perfect mother duty, all those questions were there. And I think if I had no housework at all and no one to look at, Swami had told me once, you will utilize all the papers left. You will take every tree and cut it down and write. There will be so many messages to write.
Mm-hmm. And how was the last interview with Bhagwan?
Oh, I think that was very, very special. Because Swami had slowed down the interviews. And this is in 2006. I think I was just telling someone the other day, I had become kind of a spoiled brat. And I was like, if he didn't call me, I would feel like, oh, how can you not call me? What is this going on? The world is falling apart. So on that, that was our last morning. And usually he would call us in the mornings. He didn't even look. He just went away like this. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, there's no way in the afternoon he's going to call. So I started sobbing and crying, a lot. And we went out to eat some dosa because the canteens had closed and I didn't eat anything. Nothing was going down my throat. And then about 2 o'clock darshan, we went and sat down. And Swami went to my husband and said, come inside. And the first thing he shouted at me, he said, from morning you're crying. He said, Baba is not calling, he said. Food also is not going down your throat. And then he said, very powerful sentence, he said, when will you have 100% faith? That sentence, I think really, that when will you have 100% faith? Not when will you have faith. When will you have 100% faith? Even the 99%. And I could see the pain in his eyes, that why can't you just believe 100% in me? That really hit home. And then was another touching moment, that same interview. Everybody, he was giving everybody Pad Namaskars at the end, So I had already taken in the interview, and I used to not like to bother Swami again and again with Pad Namaskar. How many can you take? No, So I was standing at the back there, and these guys, everybody was taking Pad Namaskar, and then suddenly he looked at me and he said, come, take Pad Namaskar. So I said, I already took, Swami. I told him, I'm just mouthing, I already took. So when I took the Pad Namaskar, it came to me strongly that this is your last physical interaction close to me. He's telling me from inside as I'm touching his feet. So I heard it and I said, Baba, you'll call us again, right? And he smiled. He didn't. He knew that he had told me from inside, and I said, Baba, why do I feel that you're not going to call us again after this? And he smiled. He said, I'm always with you. I'm always with you. You don't worry about that. Now go. Don't worry about everything. Go. He said. So that was my last.
So every little wish, he fulfills it in a manner that
you don't even know that
you
time.
didn't even know, you would have never imagined. And he makes it so special. And the promise that he made to you that, I'll be with you. And I think, it's a daily thing. It's a every moment thing where you experience him, where you feel him. At the same time, coming to Puttaparthi is special, right?
Oh, yeah, it is. You know why? Because I see the kids' eyes lit up, my husband's eyes lit up. Swami used to always say, don't doubt, Who else? I don't know if you have time, if I can tell you a short story here. But when I married Sanjeev, of course, he said, is there anything you need to tell me? And I can't say, oh yeah, I talk to God, all the time. And we would not marry at all. He would think I'm a loony bin. And so, of course, I didn't tell him anything. And whenever Swami used to say, hey, like a couple of times, Swami said, today, husband's car is going to get back. He's going to be in an accident. And so I used to say, I have a sixth sense. Just drive carefully. And then he would call me and say, hey, you know what? A deer came in front of my car and I've had an accident. I'm okay though. So, things like that happened a lot. And he used to say, that's so strange that your sixth sense is so sharp, So, but I used to never tell him because he was born and brought up there and it's very different. They didn't come from a Sai family, so it's very hard. So when Swami called us, Swami knew that I'm bottling this inside of me, right? So this was another nice incident too. So I was sitting in front, my husband at the back, and my children were on either side. And this was Karan and Krishna only. That time Shiva was not there. And he looked at Sanjeev and he said, your wife, no, she sees me all the time. So now I'm very free with Swami and I'm in the front and I'm telling him, and he's sitting and he's giving me a small smile. He said, no, you see me all the time. All the time she talks to me. She can see me. Wherever she goes, she sees me. So I'm feeling really now. I said, I don't know how this is going to be. So I look back and I'm saying, okay, Swami, pass on to the next topic. This is enough. No, but he doesn't. He says, tell him. So I said, no, Swami, it's okay. I'm mumbling to him like that. Like, tell him. So I mumble. I said, I see Swami sometimes. No, say loud. So I thought he's joking, so I laughed. He said, no. Then he got very serious. Say loudly. Say to him. He said. So now I turn back and I'm feeling, I said, I see him. He said, wife is always with me. She sees me all the time. Don't worry about her, he said. So now when I thought, oh my gosh, now I come to the interview room, he's going to say, what is this? You're some crazy girl who talks and sees God. So he asked me, he said, what did Swami mean by that? I said, well, I have a inner connection with God. And, God knows that I make an internal conversation with him all the time. So he was just telling you that. He said, yeah, but Swami was very strong when he said she sees me all the time. He made you repeat it. I said, yes. So slowly over the years, I had to bring him in. And now I am so open with him. I'll say, Swami has come, go take Pad Namaskar, do this. He's telling you, so it's become very open now. But it was a beautiful moment of how he just opened it like that. Like, you don't have to hide. Don't hide this.
So this interviews opened up the beautiful world of interviews.
True.
And those interviews continue. And they continue to take you and the family inward more and more. And I think when we are so centered there, everything else outside, everything else external falls into place.
Correct. Absolutely.
So beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for coming to the media center. And I know you're coming to Prashanti also after a long time. We are so happy that you could come to the studios, and what you've shared, I know, is just a drop in the ocean of these interviews. But this is a world that each one has to discover for themselves, and no one can perhaps ever
Swami
be
says
able
it takes
to say
only
everything.
a drop for you to know what the taste of water is.
True.
You don't have to drink the entire ocean
Yes.
to know what the taste. So even one drop we get of Swami's,
Yes.
we know what the ocean is.
True. And it is for that one drop that all of us have to strive and go within. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Saira.